good morning, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche, Tuesday morning, February 16th. Good morning from a very dreary and yucky, gray Southern Connecticut. I am the Badass Buddha, Dr. Lori Monaco. I am the CEO of Align Yourself, Inc. I am an authenticity teacher, speaker, coach. I am also the facilitator of a phenomenal weight loss program called the Fat Eviction Program, featuring Chirothin. What else am I? I am a chiropractic physician, and I am here with my favorite co-host on Viva Cafe con Leche. So good morning.
Buenos dias, everybody. Good morning. It's a beautiful Tuesday. It rained practically all night last night. Thunder, lightning. I loved it so much that my aging ass was on the back porch listening to it till about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Why you gotta say aging ass? Why you gotta say that?
And because I need to get to bed early. I need to be beauty, sleep. And so now I think the sun's starting to come out. It's beautiful. I am La Margarita, your spiritual and creative healing life coach. I am your writer, artist, magically orgasmic gladiator guru, welcoming you here this Tuesday morning, February 16th. And because it's a beautiful morning, let's do it because I'm tired. Mwah, namaste.
Okay, I was just posting and sharing. And what happened to Gladiator Guru? She disappeared.
What happened?
You blacked out, dude. What's going on? There we go. All right. Blacked out for a minute.
And
right, we're sorry we're late. That was my fault. I sat down. Gladiator Guru and I were ready to go on. We had a minute left, and I said, I don't like what I'm wearing. You know, us ladies, we have to be satisfied with what we're wearing. So I had to change by the time I did it, and it 5 minutes late. So we apologize.
I'm gonna apologize now because I've always been a free spirit, carefree, right by the seat of my pants, impulsive, spontaneous. I can't do this adulting shit. Now I'm gonna have to go get some sweet and low. Adulting, mi gente, means I'm drinking black coffee again for 6 weeks. And my palate is very, very angry with me. Not upset, angry. So I'm going to go run and get some. Keep talking, please, but I won't be able to
literally right now you're getting sweet and low. You're so funny. All right, I'll do shout outs. Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Kimberly. And Erica's on. Good morning.
Erica who?
Huh?
Erica who?
Bola Chala. I love that. I'm going to change my name to that. And Dr. Eileen is in the house. Good morning. And she says, you always look gorgeous. Oh, thank you. You don't see me all the time because I'm going to tell you it's not a pretty sight all the time, but thank you. I appreciate that. And Erica's like, the one and only. Yes, absolutely. So you are the one and only, so I will not steal your name, but I like that. It rolls off the tongue. So I definitely want to have something. I don't know. And not that I don't I love my last name.
What rolls off your tongue? The way you say it or the way it actually is?
The way I say it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
How do you say it again? I always forget.
Bolahala.
Oh, yeah, but I like that. I do it every time. No. And I like it better that way. Bolahala.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying it wrong.
I think, yeah. I don't know if Erica's a stickler like Margarita. I don't know. But here we are. Good morning.
Guru. How was your weekend? What coffee are you drinking? Talk to me.
Listen, I am drinking grown people coffee. And I don't like that shit. My weekend was good.
It'll be worth it in the end.
I put my ceiling fan on, so I'm happy with that. My weekend was good. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. It was good. It rained. It wasn't like, oh, whatever, but it was good. And nothing, got a lot done. And when you get a lot done, you're productive, right? So that's exactly what happened. Lori couldn't change her shirt online, but I always redo my hairstyle online. So anyway,
I could have. I mean, I could have changed my shirt online.
I know
You would have.
easy.
You would have done that. So why can't I?
So coffee, I'm drinking a new Brazilian blend, and it's good. It's really good.
And we have good morning, Preciosa.
Oh, my cousin Priscilla, and there's my cousin
Nice.
Kim, and Karen Marie, and Tiffany Bryant. Good morning, buenos dias.
I got to try to catch up to everybody's thing. You know how we like to have that on there. So what coffee? I'm sorry. Is it you? Are you drinking? What are you drinking again? Say that. I missed it, I think.
It's a Brazilian blend. Kim says, hats off to you. No cream, no sugar. No cream, no sugar, which means I'm drinking like, I don't know. I just café con leche. That's my life. That's my passion.
Typically, we're not drinking café con leche, right? Because we're back on the program.
No shit. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're back on the program. So this is interesting. So we went back on the program because I redid my goal weight. So I wanted to lose a little bit more. So we went back on the program, and the program I offer, by the way, and I have a session coming up on the 27th. So I just needed to plug that. But we went on, and the first 2 days are called the loading phase, and you just sort of eat a lot of stuff, and you can eat whatever you want. So check this out. I have not been drinking my coffee with typical leche because I've either had coconut milk in the house. I can't drink almond milk anymore, which I discovered while I was on this program, and I have a problem with almonds. So I didn't have any coconut milk. So I said, it's the weekend. I get to eat whatever I want. I'm just going to have milk. I put the milk in there, and it tasted awful with the coffee. I've gotten so unused to actually having traditional milk. So I even frothed it and everything. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great, blah, blah, blah. And it just tasted terrible. So I am all about the coconut milk. So I still have my leche. It's just a little bit untypical leche. We have to probably say coconut leche, right?
Well, when people come over to my house to drink coffee, they have carnation milk mixed with coconut milk. And I stir it, foam it, or they can just have regular the other milk, not the coconut milk, the one I just said. And so we try to stay away.
Milk, actually milk.
Yes. And I don't drink.
I mean, no, I don't. I mean, I meant it's carnation, actually.
Oh, yeah. Carnation milk, but not the sweet one, the other one, which is the one leche evaporated milk. Yeah, and that's still better than cow milk. So, but without milk and sugar to add, magic to my coffee, it's just like if I'm being punished. Because what is coffee? Coffee is my morning glow up. Coffee is my prayers treat, my meditations drumbeat. Coffee is my morning fuel tool. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it done. Get up and get it done. Practice tips on how to get started. So yes, and without it, I feel like sex without an orgasm.
Oh,
What's the point? What's the point?
Well, I will say this, that I can't go back to regular sugar. It has too much inflammatory of a nature to it. And I didn't say that right. I need more coffee. It causes too much inflammation in my system and most people's systems, but I actually don't like the taste of it anymore. I actually like the monk fruit sugar taste. And for those of you that want to substitute, and you want a 0-calorie sugar, monk fruit is a really good alternative. It's actually a great alternative. It is, and it does not leave you the aftertaste like stevia does. So people who like say, oh, I want to go more natural, and I want to get, I don't want to do like the NutraSweet or the Sweet and Low. You want to go more natural. So the next one comes up is stevia. And I don't care what anybody says. They're like, oh, it's so good, stevia. It's not. It's not.
It's not.
It tastes sweet for just like about a second. And then all of a sudden the bitter taste comes in right afterwards. And I've tried so many different brands. Truvia is part stevia. That's the commercial brand. It does not taste good. So, and you got to be careful with all the other chemicals that are in there. But monk fruit is really fantastic. I mean, it really satisfies the sweetness. And it also, it's 0-calorie, which is a great substitute. I will say this though, and I've got to do more research on this. However, I do believe that monk fruit also can raise glycemic levels. So it's not an alternative to where you could say, oh, I could go crazy. It's 0-calorie and I could eat it all day and put it on everything. You still have to be careful, because if it is raising your glycemic level, then for those of you that are diabetic or pre-diabetic, that is not something that you want to happen. So you still have to treat it like sugar. You have to, take it in moderation, but also know that it's a healthier alternative and it's also 0 calories. So, boy, you think I was making money off the monk?
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say.
I should get. I think I'm kickback, for God's sake. Good morning, Michelle Houston.
You know what? My cousin says she stopped sugar years ago. Monk fruit is the best in baking too.
Yes, I've used it in baking. It is. You could get brown monk sugar too, but it's not the same consistency as brown sugar. So for those of you that bake, that how like brown sugar has that moistness to it, monk fruit brown sugar does not have that. So I'm still playing around with that piece of it.
I say it's the best alternative to sugar. If you grew up where, I can't have black coffee, no sugar, unless it's Dunkin' Donuts dirty water coffee, because then it makes no sense.
Yeah,
I like the dark coffee. I like the dark coffee. And even with that, I still take my coffee dark and bitter, like my men or my soul sometimes. So, but just like this with nothing, it's like, no, I couldn't. So then I had to go get one of my mom's sugars because I ran out of monk fruit. And I don't like. She has Sweet and Low. I got her.
I'm still laughing at that.
That the reason I have leftover Sweet and Low is because I didn't like the aftertaste, so I was giving her my monk fruit. Her being a diabetic, but you can taste the aftertaste in it. And
let's just not get into the fact that Sweet and Low is just such garbage. I mean, it really is such garbage. It's been Sweet and Low and NutraSweet have been proven by research to show that there's too many problems with it. So I definitely, as a practitioner, do not recommend people use that. I mean, obviously you needed something, so I get that. But when people use it on a regular basis, it's not good. And
Nothing's good for us. I mean, unless we grow our own garden with no pesticides. That's the safest thing there is out there. There's really nothing out there. You drink liquor. Oh, don't drink too much. You're going to be an alcoholic. It's like everything is a fucking problem. Like, can you let me live? So, yeah. Okay. Kimberly, thank you so much for logging in before your meeting. We love having you here. My cousin Dee says you're too funny. Which part, Dee?
All of it.
The orgasms, like what the heck?
Okay.
So yeah, Black History, you go, right? You have.
Yes, I have the intention for today. So we are setting our intentions and mantras based on fabulous African Americans that we're celebrating for Black History Month, or it could be, Caribbean Americans. I mean, anybody in that genre for Black History Month that we're going to celebrate. That is, and we're doing a quote, and then we're doing the intentions and the mantras off of that. So this is my quote. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. And that was from Harriet Tubman. And the intention to go with that today is Today, I will take action on bringing my dreams to reality. Today, I will take action on bringing my dreams to reality.
That's beautiful. I like that. My Black history is, if you have no critics, you will have no success. If you have no critics, you will have no success, from my favorite Malcolm X. Yes. And my mantra is very simple too. What I said earlier and here, you got to do it, right? I think what Malcolm X is saying, whatever you got to do to be successful, do it, because people are going to talk regardless, right? So when you're in that frame of mind, like, oh my God, am I going to do it? Am I going to sell it? Am I going to do anything? Remember this, mi gente, close your eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it now. Do it now. That's all you got to do. Do it. People are going to criticize. People are going to support. It's true, without critics in anything we do, we're never going to know if we're doing it right, or if it's attractive enough for the market, or for whatever. So just embrace those haters, because they don't even realize the value they're adding to your life by criticizing, right?
Haters are going to hate.
That's it.
So that's what our conversation is going to be today. Not on haters. Our conversation is going to be on someday. Talking about, someday we're going to do this, or someday we're going to. So this is what we came up with. Are you a someday person? Someday I'm going to start a business. Someday I'm going to take that big trip. Someday I'm going to remodel the house. Someday I'm going to leave my husband. Do we really intend to do these things? That is the big question. Or is it just what we say to make ourselves feel better? And if it is, why do we do it? And then we're going to talk about why not making it today, instead of make someday into today. And then we're going to leave you with information on how you can start making someday today. And that's it. When we've all done this, every single one of us in here have done this. Some do it to a much greater degree. Gladiator Guru and I talk about this all the time. We talk about it with each other. We are both coaches. We teach people to get beyond themselves and find who they are and just unleash their greatness. But it's an ongoing process. We have our moments as we move forward. Both Gladiator Guru and I will move forward. We'll get stalled for whatever reason. Something will, sort of get in the way or prevent us from moving forward. And so we will, one of us will lag back a little bit or just stop, and we work together to help each other move forward. We work out what's going on. Why is it happening? What can we do differently? Is it a moment where you just have to take and just pause and sort of evaluate what's going on? Because sometimes we misjudge a stall that I'm not going anywhere. And get frustrated with it, where it's a necessary stall, that it's a moment to have to reevaluate your situation. But the key is to make sure that you're not stopping, that if you say, this is what I want to do, that you do it and not keep saying that, right? Because Gladiator Guru, right? You've met people where, I was that person. Oh, I'm going to do this. And then it would come with, you'll see, I'm going to do this. So this is what I'm working on right now. I'm working on this. And working on it's like 5 years. You're working on the same thing, and you are no closer to where you intended to be. And that's why it's really good to write this stuff down and date it, so that you go back and look at it and go, damn, I said this back then. I did that. I had something written down in the end of 2019. And I was going back when I was doing my review of 2020. And I realized that something I said in the end of 2019, I still hadn't gotten to yet. And here we were at the end of 2020. And it was something that was so stupidly simple that I could have done it. And I don't know why I didn't do it. And I had to really evaluate that. Okay, why? Why didn't I do it? Why didn't I move forward with this thing? Is it important to me? Was it not important to me? So we'll talk about those things. Good morning, Dory. Dory DeCarlo's on. Good morning, our producer for Viva Moms After Dark. on Word of Mom Radio. So good morning, Dory.
Buenos dias, Dory. My cousin says for me, it's getting past the fear of stepping out of the safe zone. But what's a safe zone, Priscilla? Like what? Safe zones that we say are the box we created to keep us where we're at. So that's us putting ourselves in a box because of the fear of venturing out to feel, touch, smell, taste something different. So we have to, are these the walls we created, and how quick can we kick them the fuck down? That's how, so that we can get past it and figure out when it's something. Now, let me tell you something too, with someday. You said you were stuck and it was the end of 2020. But you recognized it, right? And the thing is that and I'm coming from a spiritual point of view, because a lot of people think it's this. Sometimes we say, okay, we want to do this and we want it now, but it's just not our time. The idea is like that seed that gets planted, but all that, sometimes it's not time. So like when people ask me, what's up with your coffee cart? What's up with it? It's on my schedule, not yours. So sometimes I can take that as, oh my God, I'm not completing what I said I was going to do. But then sometimes we do get stuck in a box. We get this grand idea and this passion about something. Correct me if I'm wrong, badass. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. And then we keep putting it to the back of the line. The line keeps growing, right? But then we keep shuffling that to the back of the line. But it's something we want to do. And I guess that's what we're talking about. Right.
Well, and so the only reason I noticed was because I had it written down. And that's part of the key thing. When you come up with an idea of something that you want to do, whether you want to change a job, change a career, go back to school, I don't know, start a business,
pole dancing,
or change your personal life, like just move out of your house and move on with your life and get away. And whatever it is, you have to write it. First off is you have to write it down and date it. That holds you accountable to a certain level because you wrote it down and you have to keep it somewhere, number one, where you can find it. So that's why journaling is such a great thing, or at least having a notebook or something where you can keep track of the paperwork, because
or throughout your day, when you're busy doing something, put it somewhere.
Because if you just think it, you lose track. I mean, time is so bizarre. Like we just lose track of time. I would have never thought that if I said to you, like if you said to me, Gladia, I said to you what it was, and you said, oh, you said that over a year ago. And I would have said, no, I didn't. But because I looked back at the piece of paper that I wrote with a date on it, and I went, oh, that's when it hits you, because you're like, I thought I just said that like a few months ago, and it was over a year ago. So that's why it's really important, number one, to write these things down, because that's the first piece. You said that expression to me, and I love that expression. You said, if you can think it, ink it, because when you believe it, you'll achieve it.
Absolutely.
So you think it, then you ink it, you write it down, and then but dating, because I've caught myself on this numerous times. I have a tendency to write in my journal and I don't date things, but dating is holding you accountable so that when you look back and you say, gosh, I never did this. Why? So then to be able to say, why didn't I do it? So that's where we deal with what Priscilla was saying. Was it that I didn't do it because there was fear? Did I not do it because I didn't think it was that important? I think part of it was I never went back and looked at it. That's the other piece, is you have to, if you want to make change, you have to write it down, but you also have to have it at your disposal to be able to see it, to hold yourself accountable. Exactly.
And by putting it here, what I'm saying is put it, like if you're in the kitchen a lot, if you're in the bathroom, put it on your decorate your bathroom mirror with what you want done that week. And then you go taking off trashing as you get it done during that week. What's the best way? So you put it around your mirror. I put it on my refrigerator. I put it on the TV in my mom's room, because I'm constantly in there going in to check on her. Because if not, I'll forget. Because in my mind, I'm an artist. Either I'm thinking about, yesterday I was hanging paintings all over my house. And either I'm writing or I'm jotting stuff down on every piece of paper I can find. So this is what I have to do sometimes. Or, you come and you do this. you know?
But I don't recommend putting it on your face, because then you'll be like, what? People be going,
I'm
are you gonna do that?
home all day.
Do what? Do
I'm
what?
home.
I don't see it.
So this is me giving you a visual of how close you need
Very
to have
attractive,
your
by the way.
stuff. You need to
Especially
have your
look.
stuff.
Especially
So you know what you do in your house, in your car, on your dashboard. You know, I love when I've ran into people that in their car, on their dashboard, they actually had a sticky that said breathe, to remind them when they're upset to breathe. Like if someone can put that, and I thought that was genius, and I was like, I applauded them. They're like, oh, don't laugh at me. I said, are you kidding me? That's like the smartest thing I've seen in a while.
Absolutely.
So you need to just do that. I mean, use sticky notes, put reminders on your phone. Let that bitch keep beeping every 2 hours, remind you. Mine comes on every 2 hours, change mom's diaper. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm going to leave her without a diaper. It beeps so damn much. But it's a reminder that I have to go and do it, right? And it gets done, and it gets done on time. We need to put that much care and compassion into what the hell we're doing.
So with that, I'm going to share a little story. And I don't know if I've shared this before, but one of my clients, and he's amazingly successful at achieving his goals. He is just mind blowing. Every year he makes his vision board, but he has a ritual. See, so it's not just about writing things down. It's not just about making a vision board. It is also having a ritual, because let me tell you, I have put stuff on my phone to remind me, and I can ignore it because I've heard it coming up so much that I've learned to tune it out. I'm very good at that. So you have to create a ritual. And what he does every morning, he would get up in the morning, and he would before he does anything, he would stand in front of his vision board, and he would stand there, and sometimes he would stretch, do a little bit of stretching, but he would look at his vision board, and he would look at every item on his vision board, and he would give it like 30 seconds, just looking at it and feeling it and visualizing it, and then, manifesting it and going to each one. And he would take like no more than 5 minutes to go through his board. And he does it every single morning. So he's reminded of what it is that he had set into place for the year. And when I tell you this guy's on hyperdrive, like he manifests stuff so rapidly, it's unbelievable. We talk about it all the time, but it's because he does this. Gladiator Guru and I've talked about this. She's a writer for sure. I mean, she pens stuff. I haven't owned that yet because I haven't written a book formally, but truth be told, I need to, because I've written so much stuff. I have so much stuff sitting around. So, but I haven't really owned it yet. But but what I'm saying is that we were talking about this, and she says, she's got sticky notes all over the place, and she's got pieces of paper. She's not a journal person per se. Like, she doesn't keep a journal. She has papers, notebooks, whatever. I'm the same way. I'm kind of very cluttered with that. It depends on my mood. I have a journal. I have notebooks, sticky papers all over the place. I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 just sitting right in front of me right now on my laptop and on the thing that I lift my laptop up with. And you write these things down, and you have so much information, but you also have to give the information the time. You have to look at it. Like, one of the things I wrote is love is conditional. Who believes that? We're raised this way. So that's a conversation that we're probably going to have on the show, because it's something that, we'll talk about. But that is a piece of it. It's like you write it down, but you also have to give it the time and be organized with it, because sometimes I'll forget what the hell I wrote. Gladiator, do you do this? Because you write in so many different, and then you go back to it. You have the pile, and then you happen to take a moment, you go back to it, like, damn, did I write this? This is pretty good. Like, wow, oh, this is very insightful. I need to bring this out to the world,
Well, I'm really good at dating everything I write, even if it's on a pad.
Good. I'm not. I'm not at all.
I date it because it reminds me, when I'm writing it into a story, I can go back to that day, visualize what I had on, and then I can understand what I was feeling when I wrote that.
Ooh,
so
sweet.
I always visualize what season was it in and what I had on. And then from there, it's always been a gift.
Oh, I like that.
So I would always say, okay, what was I wearing? Okay, so it was this time. So it was the winter, but what was I wearing? Because then you have Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's in winter. That's how I visualize the winter. Just, October, November, December. So, and then so I dated, and then I can actually remember what I was wearing and how I was feeling, and then the story comes from there.
Yeah. You know what's so great about what you said, besides from everything, but you said that you go back and you think about what you were wearing, the season, and how you were feeling. And it's the feeling when we attach a massive amount of emotion to something, it builds it up better for us. And so that's the other piece here is that when we say someday, we have not committed a full-blown emotion to it. Because if it was that important to us, we always find a way. I don't care what anybody says. There's that expression, if it's important to you, you will find a way. If it's not, you will find an excuse. The moment that someday thing that you're saying becomes drastically important to you, it will shift. So let's talk about the coffee cart just for a second. I remember you've mentioned it to me. And then you said recently, within the last couple of months, you said this to me, or maybe a month ago, you said there was a shift where all of a sudden it became more front and center for you. That all of a sudden it was talk, and then all of a sudden you just said, okay, you know what? I want this, like this, I want, and all of a sudden it moved faster. And you're right. We go in our own time, but we do have to also be very clear about, am I going in my own time as the universe is providing, or am I holding back, like what Priscilla said, because I'm fearful or I don't know? Look, so let's talk about the reasons why we hold back. Fear is the biggest one. Another one is that we just don't know how to move forward. It's not that we're afraid. We find it overwhelming, confusing. We think that, oh, it's going to be really hard. I have to learn extra stuff. Maybe you do. But again, if it's important to you, we always find a way. We always find information. And if it means going online, if it means asking for help, if it means getting training, it doesn't matter. You just seek it. Well, okay, then another one comes in is finances. Well, I really want to do this, but my financial situation is not going to allow me to do this. Okay, that's when you have to evaluate. Take a look at your finances. How do you know where your finances are? Truly, you have to actually write it down. Well, I know it's really bad. Okay, how bad is it? How bad is bad? So, okay, evaluate that. Well, I want to move on my own. I want to be somewhere else. I don't want to live where I'm living anymore. Well, where do you want to live? Well, I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
what do you know?
You got to know who the hell you are and where you're going.
And sometimes the best way to know is to not know. What do I mean by that? And again, Gladiator Guru and I were talking about this. We teach people as coaches to go for what is that they want. Ask yourself, what do you want? But sometimes people are like, I don't know what I want. I don't know. All right, then ask a better question. What don't you want? Because most people are really clear on what they don't want. Why? Because they've experienced it. What do you want? I don't know. Where do you want to live? I don't know. Well, where don't you want to live? Well, I'm tired of the snow. I'm tired of the cold. Well, then you don't want snow and you don't want cold. So that's going to cross off a huge amount of choices. So, okay, but well, I know I don't like humidity. Cross off that. So you take that piece and then you put that together. And then, so fear, not knowing how to do it, right? Getting overwhelmed. Not knowing fully what you want, not knowing yourself, like Gladiator Guru said. These are all exercises that you need to do in order to get to that someday.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, when you don't practice that, and some of us who are not used to doing it, let me tell you, I mean, if you look besides that Buddha, if you look in my house, see all that. That's all my art hanging up there. The green-headed lady, that's my art. That's my protector when you walk in my door. All that. I am not an organized. My paints are in a certain place. My brushes are. I'm not like organized per se, like somebody who needs. I'm one of those artistic, free-spirited people where I have pens.
Most artists are like that.
So I'm not organized there. But you have to know. You have to learn yourself. But even while you're in the process of learning yourself, that's how you're going to know what's your taste, what's your palate, what are the flavors for your palate in your life. Like, where do you want to go? Absolutely badass. If you don't like the cold, okay, but you don't like the humidity, okay. So I didn't like the cold. I really don't care for Florida, but here I am, right? You adjust also until you can reach the next level, which is very important. It's not even adjusting, but to stay, but adjust, because your mentality, back to the coffee cart. I thought of this idea in July of 2019. I said, that's it. I'm not gonna want the overhead right now, so I can have a cart. And then I bought a 3-wheel bike. Priscilla, if you're still on, I brought a 3-wheel bike from my aunt. My brother-in-law was gonna weld it. Something happened. It didn't happen, right? My aunt still has the bike. So then I said, okay, when I get to Florida, because then I brought mom to Florida, and we got here a week before quarantine, before anybody realized we were going to be on timeout. So other things happened in the process, and now I'm like, okay, so now this is what I'm going to do. Abuelita's authentic cafe con leche is going to happen. It is not a dream. It is not a thought that's going to like flee with the wind or get, drowned with the rain. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen at the time that it's supposed to happen, because when the idea came and then all this stuff happened, right, that needed to happen with mom and certain growths in myself. And then here we are again. I'm fully prepared. Shit's going to take place because now I feel that I am one with the universe that's telling me, let's do this. No más waiting, right? And I think we all get to that point, but then as the badass says, fear, insecurities, lack of self-trust, that holds us back. So don't blame anybody. If you exhaust all your options as a spirit in the universe and it still don't happen, you're not giving your all. You live in the sometimes frame of mind. Sometime I'll do it. When the right man comes along, when I have the right car.
When my kids are out of school.
Yeah.
When I retire. And so, but here's the deal though. If you are that someday person and then you complain about your life, you don't get to do that because you're not taking action in your life. And I know that sounds harsh, but if you stopped complaining and take then that energy that you're wasting complaining and then shut up, like when you catch yourself and you say, oh, I'm ready to complain about my husband, I'm ready to complain about my job, stop yourself and hold it back. If you do that, you will build energy up to start taking action. Because I want you to think about this. Think about everybody around you that has been listening to this for years, has been listening to you say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there. And you've said it and said it and said it. And think about what the other end is like. Oh, here she goes, or here he goes. They always say that. And then you get a new person in the group, right? And you're going, oh, I'm going to make this and I'm going to do that. And then you leave the group and the new person goes, oh, that's so cool, they're going to do this. And the other one that's heard it says, yeah, they've been saying that for years, they're not going to do that. And so you don't think about really step out as if you're the fly on the wall in the room that you're in talking. If you shut it up and you say, okay, I got to stop saying this. I'm not saying this anymore. I can't keep saying this because I'm not holding myself accountable. The moment you don't say it, then it's hard to describe, but it's this feeling within you that makes you want to make the change. Like, I remember when in my first marriage, I had a very, very bad first marriage. And I would complain to anybody who would listen how much I did not want to be with my husband. And a couple of people called me out on it, of my friends. And they're like, well, then why you're miserable? Like, why are you still there? And I'd be like, oh, well, and then the minute they would call me out, I would have an excuse. And the excuse was me. Like, it was all me. I had every opportunity to just walk away, but I was so into the drama of it that I didn't want to walk away. Was it fear? Was it, I don't know what it was. I really don't know what it was. I think I was just addicted to the drama, and that's part of it too, right, Gladiator Guru? It could be that you like saying someday because you love the idea of the vision and you love the idea of saying, this is what I'm going to do, but you aren't truly strong enough or brave enough to take the step. And you don't want to admit that to yourself. So, yep, it is fear, but it's also just the idea you're in love with the vision.
It is. Sometimes we romanticize something and we see ourselves doing it. Like I see myself, what? Like a size 7 flat stomach, poofy, poofy, poofy. Firm breast. Guess what? Unless I work at it, that someday's not coming, right? So that's how like I can do. But you're absolutely right. Just do it. I think we're all capable of doing whatever it is we want to do. That's not hindering ourselves or anyone around us. It's just something that's in us to do. Because who wants to do something? Who says, oh, someday I'm going to become 600 pounds? We don't say anything negative of someday I'm going to do this. So maybe it's
someday I'm going to be a loser. Someday I'm going to be a failure. I'm going to fail at business.
That doesn't happen. So I think we need to take we need to take the chance. So if you've never had caviar, well, hang around people who eat caviar and taste it a little and see if you like it. Oh, I'm just saying, like you don't know. You might have a list of some days, right, that you picked up because you heard or maybe you've seen someone else doing, but it's not born from you. And then you end up beating yourself up because you didn't conquer that someday list. Well, maybe that wasn't for you.
That's correct. That's a good point.
Yeah. So go back and revisit your list, revisit your thought process, go back and say, I remember when I wanted this, and then think about it. But did I want this, or was I surrounded by people who had it? Or did I hear about it and it intrigued me at that moment? But don't hold yourself to something that maybe was just a fleeting thought. And maybe it just smelled good, or the colors looked beautiful, or you saw people having fun at it. It doesn't mean it's you. You have to someday, soon, accomplish what it is you set out to do for your spirit and your mind, body, and spirit all into one. And people forget that. And I'm like, why do people forget that? Andrew Frank.
I know. I was just going to say, did you read his thing?
Which one, Andrew? That one? Yeah, I painted that because I said someday I'm going to look like that. But I was happy with my painting. And it was right. I had my hair like really down a little past my butt when I was taking care of Eric. And I was so into that. My light was dimming. The ALS was taking over him. And then I just painted myself walking free with no clothes and walking in the rain. So you see the puddle at my feet. And I'm just walking through it, listening to the sound of the water and feeling it on my feet and through my toes. And then once I transferred all that negative or sorrow-filled emotion onto the canvas, that was fun. So yeah, it's a someday me, Andrew. And that's okay.
But listen, you brought up a really good point. You said that someday list that now if we're making people feel guilty about their someday list, but if that someday list is not your own, and that's why it's really important for you to understand who you are and what it is that you really want. And I'll give you a really good example. So being friends with Gladiator Guru, she used to make jewelry. Our friend Lillian makes jewelry. There's a lot of people that make jewelry. And there's always been this intrigue for me. I've never been a big jewelry fan, but actually in the last couple of years, I've really started wearing jewelry and liking it. So, but I like very specific type of jewelry. So I'm very boho. And I was always intrigued by the idea, making jewelry, making clips for the hair, right? And I can't tell you how many times in the last 10 years I've gone to like Michael's and purchased a couple things. And I'm like, I have this idea in my head I'm going to do. And even as recent as like 6 months ago, I went there, I bought this thing. I'm going to make this jewelry for myself. And here's the interesting thing. I can't make jewelry. It's not possible for me to make jewelry for two reasons. I'm not good at it. And number two is I don't really have that much of an interest. I love the idea of making the jewelry, but in the end, it is not my interest. So I'm almost better off picking what I want and then sending it out to one of my friends that makes it and say, could you make this for me? Because I don't make the time. I don't want to make the time. I just see what I like and I want it made. That's it. So I have to get rid of the in-between things. So if I put that on my list and said, oh, I want to be able to make my own jewelry. I've done this a lot with crafts. You see people on Pinterest, you see people on Etsy put some really cool stuff up. And I'm like, ooh, I've got some scrap wood downstairs or in the garage. I'm going to make something. It never happens because I don't make the time to make it. Not that I'm not good with my hands. It's just that is what, it's not my someday. It is the idea of having it. So I've understood that. And for a long time, Guru, I did feel a little guilty about it. I would open up a drawer and go, oh, there's those jewelry pieces sitting in there that I said someday I'm going to make this into a bracelet, or I'm going to make it into a hair clip. But I came to terms with the fact that someday piece I'm okay with. So what do I do with it? Do I just get rid of it? I either send it out or I get rid of it because I'm not going to do it. And I'm okay with that.
But see, and that's beautiful that you release something from las entrañas, like they say, so that idea is no longer sewn into the tapestry of your soul. So it could not bring you down. It could not make you feel bad about yourself. Correct. It could not make you feel inept or unfulfilled, or that you failed at yet another thing. Because once we do acknowledge that, we release it, right? It's no longer a part of us. And I think we need to go down that checklist, not every 3 months, do it every month. At the end of every month, say, what did I have in the beginning? And what did I feel? I guess I ain't doing that shit. Check it off. Check it off. It's like that pair of jeans at size 4 we keep in the closet when we're wearing a size 14. So I'm gonna get back in those jeans.
If you get on the Chiron weight loss program I offer, yes.
But if you do get back into a size 4, don't you think you're worthy of celebrating that accomplishment and going out and buying a new pair of jeans?
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Because if you keep that old one there through the process, it's not a motivator. It's a reminder that you gained all this weight or you're not that size anymore. So, I mean, celebrate your little accomplishments, even acknowledging, well, I wanted the idea of me creating something that was good, but 1, I don't have the time, and 2, I don't have the patience, and 3, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then pass it forward. You know what? That adds to your courage instead of making you feel unworthy. I mean, try it sometimes, man, to stop fearing the fear. In Spanish, there's a refrán, a saying that says, oh, you're scared? And they'll say, el miedo lo dejé en la gaveta. Meaning, I left that fear in the top drawer. I ain't got time for that shit. You go out and you do what you got to do.
Say it again in Spanish.
El miedo lo dejo en la gaveta. And so, you know what? If you can't face your fear, then you store that bitch away until you brought up the courage to do it. But no one's going to do that for you. So that someday should be today. And the little things. So if you have a list when you get off this show, check your list. What's something you keep saying, oh, I got to do it. Even if it's organizing your shoe rack. If it's putting cotton balls in the right place instead of going into the bag to take it because you haven't found 5 minutes to put it in the freaking glass jar you have for it, So, I mean, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, the micro wins, we call them. Right? Because we always look for the big win. Oh, well, I want to move to a tropical area, but I'm still here. So I failed. No, just what are the little steps to get to the tropical area? What would you need to do? Do you need to get rid of a lot of the stuff that you have? Do you need to organize your finances? Do you need to, those are the little pieces and they're micro wins. I have a list. Did you get a list together, Guru, for people? For practical steps, I got a list. If I could share it, do you have a list as well?
No, I don't have a list because I'm not gonna add to their list. I'm telling you, go through your list today, right?
Not gonna add to their list.
No, you go. You have a list. You told me you were gonna have one, so I didn't make one.
No, it's fine. I know sometimes you jump on that, so I didn't want to squash yours. So what we did was we were discussing this yesterday, and we decided to just give you some tips. so that you can start on this journey. And some of it is what we've already been talking about. And it's just, okay, 10 things that you can do. Some of it came from what's called hackspirit.com, but it's 10 things that you can just write down quickly and say, okay, let me consider all these things. All right. So first one is identify what it is that you want and who you are, what is right for you. Because it's true, if you have somebody else's list, then that's no wonder you're not doing it. It's your someday is not, it's not your someday, it's somebody else's someday. Ask why you want these things. So when you ask why, you're putting an emotion to it. How important it makes it, how important it is to you. Oh, I love your hair like that. Looks so pretty. Don't waste energy complaining about it or saying that you're going to do that. So, right, these are all the things that we've already talked about. Believe that it's possible. Okay. There's one thing about dreaming, but saying it and actually feeling it are two different things. So when you believe that it's possible, that's when the steps you can move forward with that. Breathe, like the little sticky note in that person's car. Gladiator Guru was saying, don't forget to breathe. Take a moment, pause, quietly, breathe. Think about what it is that you want to do. Get support. Have an accountability partner. Say, hey, I'm going to do this. Can you remind me and check in with me that I said I'm going to do this? It could be a friend. It could be a mentor. It could be a coach, somebody that you pay for, somebody that you just are friends with. Okay. Write it down, hang it on the walls, hang it wherever. Get organized as you can be. Organize little pieces. Like Gladiator was saying, start with the cotton balls and then get that little piece out of the way. One less thing. Find a starting point. Okay. Think about what it is that you want, where you want to go. What first can I start with? And again, if you can't think of where your starting point is, ask for help. Brainstorming really helps with other people. Gladiator Guru and I do this all the time for each other. We'll talk about stuff and then she'll say, well, what about this? And why not go here? And it's like eye-opening. Why didn't I think of that? Because I didn't. And that's why we help each other out so much. And define and confront your fears. What is it that you're afraid of? And what is stopping you? And write it down, define it. Okay, well, it's money. Money's an issue for me. Okay, that's a real legit issue. What needs to change for you to get from where you are now to the next stage? What needs to change? And is it something that you can change on your own? Do you need help with it? Just be creative. And again, always brainstorm with people, especially people who love you, because if maybe they're tired of hearing you say, I someday, and they're like, oh, for God's sakes already. Thank you. You're ready to take a step. I'm so happy because we're tired of hearing you say someday.
Yeah. And then once you do it, eliminate them for not believing in you. cut. No. But, and then you brought something up. It's very important. Fears, right? The someday stay on the someday list, like at the back of the dresser or at the bottom of the pile of papers, because you fear you cannot do it. But I think your bigger fear is that you can. And then where are you going from there? Because once you swim through that canal, guess what? Now you're swimming downstream in the river, heading towards the waterfall of your abundance. And oh my God, what if once I get there, I'm not going to have time for this? And then after you go through the waterfall, where are you? You're in this vast, big ocean that you can own. That's all yours. But our fears of not being able to hold it. So yeah, I think it's both. I think we subconsciously fear our success more than our failure. And that's why a lot of people someday list it. It's on your list too, because 80-20, I think 80% of the time it's on your someday list because it's something you want. It's a passion and you can do it. And then, we hold ourselves back. No one holds us back, because when this person says no and that bank slams the door, the whole country where that bank is not going to help you in any state, guess what? You go to a private lender, or you work extra hours, or you get this and you get a down payment. There's so many avenues for us to complete something if we really want. So you got to question it. Is it that I cannot do it, or is it that I can, but I'm afraid? Yep. But either way, I think you need to make that list and do it for the month. we do these lists because we also practice it, mi gente. It's not that we're thinking let me show them that. No, and you're going to go through this every day that you're breathing, because every day that list gets a little longer. So what you do is, when you add to the list, revisit the top again, and then eliminate things that you thought you wanted, but because at the end of the month you had an epiphany and it's something that's closer and you can do, then guess what? Eliminate, bring it down. And that's how you can get through your list. Someday, when you're all alone, and you do it and you figure it out for yourself, because when you figure it out for yourself, the rewards, the accomplishments, the satisfaction, the pure, genuine joy you feel that, oh my God, I did my list. It's what I wanted. I can see it happening, because our lives have been written. All we got to do is find the clues to make sure we connect the dots to live abundantly.
That's right.
That's all the knowledge I'm spewing. But thank you for that list. I wrote them all down. That's exactly what we need. Believe that it's possible. I love that. That was number one. And that's what we need to do. Believe that anything you do is possible.
And hang out with people that believe in you as well. Not the fake believers that say, yeah, you're going to do it someday. And then you walk away and they turn around. Yeah, they're never going to do it. You want to hang out with the people that also call you out on it. How many times are you going to say someday? Because those are the people that really love you.
Then you get mad. Like, I can't believe they freaking said that to me. Don't they realize what I'm going through? And then you look and you're like, yeah, but I could be doing that. So you need them. You need them to mete saganata, un cocotazo, like they would do to us, and wake up. Sometimes you need to be like violently awakened.
Yes. Yep. And those are the best people in your life anyway. Those are the best, because they're saying what you don't want to hear, or they're not ignoring you, and you don't want to be ignored. You want to be, if they're calling you out on your someday and you're getting annoyed and pissed off at them, you need to really step back and say, who am I really pissed off at? Am I really pissed off at them saying it and calling me out? Or am I really pissed off because they're right and I didn't do it? So yes, Dory's leaving. Thanks, Dory, for coming on. And also good morning to our beautiful niece, Ruthie, who came on. So Ruthie is in the house. And so, yeah, with just a couple of minutes left, I think, we didn't see that many people on this morning. So hopefully people will watch afterwards. But I feel like this was a really good topic to discuss. I think we've brought some really good points to the forefront, and some things for people to consider. So I'm hoping that if you were watching but didn't watch the whole thing, rewatch it. This is one of those things where there's pieces of information scattered throughout that's really great for you great insight for you to pay attention to and write down. And so I'm hopeful that people will understand the information that's been discussed here today.
Yeah, hopefully it'll trigger something, because that's what we do as a tribe of women. Because anybody who knows me knows I'm more specific to women growing into themselves first, so that then they can grow into the spirit world that they're supposed to do. So I think that, yeah, we all need that kick-ass start, a kick-ass real friend, Tiffany, Brian. We need the ones that hold the fireworks, and the ones that hold the matches, and the one willing to light that firecracker up your ass to say, come on already. Are we doing this or not? And a real friend would say, stop talking about it and just do it already.
Yes.
That's a real friend. That's not somebody insulting you. Yeah. Unless they're not your friend and they hurt through other people, and you're like, excuse me? Squeeze me? I love white chicks. But yeah, so yeah, absolutely. I think we all need to be reminded. We all need to be checked, even if we check ourselves in the mirror. I just think that we make your someday happen soon day. And if you go over the list, you will see that you're going to scratch off some stuff that you're like, what was I thinking? I held myself accountable to that, and scratch it off, and then move on to the next thing, because everything is possible as long as you have breath in you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So we are at the end. And so for Thursday's conversation, we are going to have our special guest, Legend Thurman. And yes, that is her name. So the title is I Am Legend. And we're going to be talking about the power of names and living up to who we are. Is a name, can we live up to a name? Can we live up to, does a name really matter? And in the end, who are we really living up to? What is our fullest potential? So we're going to have, and Legend will be broadcasting all the way from England. She's from the US, but she's going to school in England. So we will have her on the show. So it'll be very exciting to speak to her. Any last words, Gladiator Guru, the beautiful, who changed her hairstyle 3 times in the broadcast, and each time was just lovely.
What was the topic? Someday, right? Changes we want to make. So I didn't wait for someday or off camera. I did it while I was doing it so that I can be comfortable, feel comfortable.
That was really good. You like brought it into the conversation.
And because I'm comfortable with myself, I have to make sure that I like what I see. Because there's people that will see me, oh my God, you look great. And it's like, I have no makeup on, probably residual mascara down here because I'm doing something. And then it's so, you know what? It's too hard to supply the masses with my beauty. I have to be comfortable with it. So yeah, and I'm comfortable with you and our beautiful audience. And that's just to show we don't need to do things behind closed doors either or go off camera. You know what you need to do? You keep the conversation going. It's about what you're saying. And then you cut, and I'm comfortable right now because this will be my hairdo for the day, you know? So yeah.
So take a step today and decide what it is that you've been saying someday and start it today. What can you do today to start that going so that it's no longer someday? And we're not going to say, we're going to see you someday. We're going to see you Thursday, because you will be back on Thursday and we will be here Thursday. So it's not that we have a someday coming up with this show. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming on. We will see you all Thursday. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, breathe in the beauty, breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone.